Howdy, and welcome back to the Dice Cast. We've got another exciting matchup with your original hosts, Nick and Justin, and we've got the new Kharadron Overlords book hitting the table for the first time. I haven't played KO in quite a while, and this is a nice new way to get into it.
This is old school Nick Army. I mean, you haven't played it in quite some time. You used to try to mix it in where you could, but now since 3rd edition kind of rolled out, we've seen that with save stacking, KO hasn't been where to be.
It's been a little bit rough, but now they've got some tools to really kind of engineer their rend a little bit higher in a couple of cases, and they've got some ways to play in different ways. So I had been playing a lot of Barrack Thring so that I could have a melee presence on the table and play in all the phases. Wasn't necessarily the strongest, but it was more interesting to me. And now KO has some interesting baked-in rules to have that melee presence, although they kind of gutted Barrack Thring. I'm sad about that.
And I'm bringing the army that everyone has been saying is the best army in this new GHB. I'm going to be playing Giants. So it's going to be little guys against very big guys.
Top of the meta, of course. Yeah. The Giants are struggling right now, but they definitely have some play on some of these battle plans with very few objectives, which tonight is going to be the case. And they're still a DPS check, and it'll be interesting to see how the new book from KO can stack up against that wall.
I think it's an awesome video for our viewers. Now, all our videos are awesome for our viewers, but if you're thinking about playing KO, Giants have nowhere to run. They have no place to hide. Let's see what these KO guys can shoot off the board in a turn.
Sure. Another new interesting wrinkle. I've got one of the regiments of renown, so let's get into the list.
Let's do it. My list is going to take about 30 seconds to go through. I am Breaker Tribe today. I am bringing my Gatebreaker as my general. He's going to be monstrously tough for a couple extra wounds. And he's going to have the glowy shield of protection to negate 1 rend. I then am bringing, I've had a King Brad for a while. I'm finally going to get him on the table. And then 2 War Stompers. And this is all going to be wrapped up into the Bosses of Stomp. So I'm going to do 1 drop today.
So tonight I am playing a Barrack Nar list. And this list has a big shooting component and a big melee component. And like I said, I'm excited about how that can play now in the new KO book. I've got a frigate is going to be my only boat, and I've never really run a frigate before. I have a couple of times, but in a serious game I've never run a frigate before. But they have some real juice now on that melee side. I've got Brock Grungson, who again is a model that didn't have a lot of play before, but should be pretty good now. In a Barrack Nar list, he's going to be giving out a bubble of +1 attacks. I've got an Argonaut Admiral for some melee punch, and then I've got a Chemist and a Navigator. They're both awesome. The Navigator has Stormcaller, so he's going to be re-rolling his Reading the Winds ability. And the Chemist has the Spell in a Bottle. Spell in a Bottle is a little bit different now. He's got the Soul Scream Bridge in it. It's going to work functionally the same in this list, but I don't have to pay points for that bridge anymore, which is really nice. For my units, I've got 2 units of 10 Argonauts, 1 big block of 15 Thunderers to ride that bridge over, 2 units of 3 Endrin Riggers that are going to give me some melee punch out of the boat, because the Balloon Boys can ride the boats now. And then I've got Norgrim's cohort. So that's a Rune Lord, that's Norgrim, 10 Iron Drakes, and 10 Longbeards. And they've got an extra ability to hold objectives. They're going to be a real anvil presence here. I did take a Warlord Battalion to get an extra aspect of the champion. So my Chemist is going to have Tunnel Master, and my Admiral is going to have Leadership of the Alpha, because there's a lot of things in this army that I really want +1 to hit on in that shooting phase. So that's going to give me a once per game on that. I've got some Alpha potential here. I've got a ton of drops, a bunch of different battalions, but it's going to be very telling what I can do against these Giants and whether I can hit this DPS check that they represent.
Today we're playing Realmstone Cache. It starts off with just 1 objective directly in the center of the table. At the beginning of battle round 3, this is going to explode. Nick and I will both roll to see where the cache explodes to, and then there will be 2 other points on the army that are designated on the map. And and then we kind of switch gears on where we're going to be fighting over. Other than that, it's pretty simple. It's score 1, score 2, score more, and battle tactic. I don't really love my deployment. It's always difficult with giants. Like, they're not really screens. There's nothing that I kind of want to not have him come into Broad, but my Gatebreaker's a little bit more resilient with the Monstrously Tough and the Glowy Shield, so I don't mind having him a bit out on the edge. Other than that, I have a little bit of the screen in the front, and I have one War Stompa deployed off to the left.
This army is a lot more boots on the ground than I'm used to with Kharadron Overlords, so that definitely is interesting in deployment. Normally I'm used to deploying 100% defensively and then flying high my entire army to where I need it to be. But in this case, I want to get those foot troops up so they can start contesting our lone objective. And then I've actually got to position my frigate potentially offensively, so that's definitely an interesting situation. And I definitely wanted to leave some screens in place, but with Justin's deployment and his one drop, you're getting to see that first. I'm not too worried about him coming in turn 1, so I am kind of towing the line in a couple places. So yeah, Justin, you outdropped me. Before you pick, I do get to pick one model in your unit, thanks to my code, and I'll get +1 to wound against that model for the entire game, and I'm going to pick your Gatebreaker, your general.
Sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and give Nick first turn. One thing I always remember about playing KO, and I don't know if it's going to be the same as with this book, is I never wanted to get double turned by KO. So I'm going to operate under some old assumptions here and hope that they are still what's right, and give Nick the first turn and see how many giants he can take off first turn, and then we'll go from there.
All right, let's get into it.
Good luck.
Good luck. All right, at the start of my hero phase, I'm going to roll my Barrack Nar command points. So for each Barrack Nar hero I've got, which is everybody except the Rune Lord, on a 4-up I'll get an extra command point, and I'll get 1 extra one. So I'll be on 3. For my battle tactic, I'm going to pick an interesting one here. This is the KO specific one called Opening Salvo. You can pick this battle tactic only if no units have been destroyed in the battle. You complete this battle tactic if an enemy unit is destroyed in my shooting phase this turn. And then for my heroic action, I'm going to try to get an extra command point with my Admiral on a 4-up. And I do.
So as odd as it seems for me here, I am actually going to Finest Hour my War Stomper that is sitting in front of Broad and the Gatebreaker. I'm guessing here a little bit as to what Nick will prioritize. I have a little bit of protection already on my Gatebreaker, and I kind of want to save Finest Hour for a little bit later. Broad is somewhat tempting, but he does have 40 wounds, and I can always use it later. I can always give him a little bit more protection during the shooting phase. This guy will be the closest to being able to get into Nick's objectives later, or Nick's troops later, so for me right now, I wouldn't mind having him survive this turn just to cause havoc for Nick later.
Sure. Sounds good. Into my hero phase proper, I've got a couple things to do. The Longbeards are going to grumble, and they're going to do the grumble that gives reroll 1s to wound. And then the Rune Lord is going to attempt to pray for Forge Fire, which will give 1 better rend on the Iron Drakes, and I got that on a 3, so +1 rend on the Iron Drakes. My Navigator is going to attempt to read the winds, and he's got the Stormcaller command trait, so he's got 6 dice and has the opportunity to reroll here. And I am going to reroll 5 of these. And I've got 2 1s. That's the effect I'm going to pick. So that's going to be 2 units within 30 inches. It's going to be both of the War Stompers. They're each going to take D3 mortal wounds and have their movement cut in half. So the War Stomper on the far right here is going to take 2 mortal wounds, and the one in the center of the board is going to take 3 mortal wounds. My Chemist is then going to put out the Soulspring Bridge. And then we'll get into movement phase. First thing that's going to happen is that the Thunderers are going to ride through the bridge. I was tempted to push everything at Justin and just try to shoot off as much as I could in this turn, but I thought discretion might be a little bit of the better part of valor here. So I'm holding off. I'm not going to burn a bunch of my once per game abilities. I'm just going to isolate and try to take down one giant, which should be very achievable for the tools I've got here. And I moved Nordgrim and his group up so that they can really be a strong contesting force on the objective with their ward. Got my Thunderers in position so that they're going to be able to do a bunch of damage and then hopefully get some suppression off as well if Justin comes into them. And I positioned my boat with a fly high off to the edge so that it's a very unappealing target for Justin to come at. Eventually it's going to come in and do a bunch of work in melee, but I don't want to blow all of that in turn 1 here and leave myself without that punch later in the game when I might need it. And then we're going to shoot. First shooting is going to happen with kind of everything in the boat. I'm going to first shoot with Brock
into
the War Stomper there.
I'm going to spend a command point for all defense.
Nice.
Yeah, War Stomper.
Yeah. At the start of my shooting phase, the Aether-Chemist is going to use Etheric Augmentation on the Thunderers, of course. Alright, so Brock has got Grungson's Boast. It's going to be 1 attack, 3s and 2s. 4 to hit, and then 2 to wound. It wounds at -2.
This will be a 5-up from my giant. He's going to pass.
Got it. And then 6 attacks with the Magnate's Charter on 3s and 3s. 5 hits there. That's going to be 3 at -1.
This will be 3 4-ups. Going to hit 2.
2 damage.
He's going to have taken 4.
My Admiral is out of range for his shooting. The Endrin Riggers are all in range, though. I've got 6 of them in that boat, 2 units of 3. We'll just combine their profiles. They're all going into that War Stomper. So this is going to be a total of 18 shots on 3s and 4s. Fours to wound is where you really lose a lot of these. That is a total of 7, and these are at -2.
This will be 7 5-ups. I'm gonna make 2.
Just 1 damage each. Yep.
He's taken 9 total.
Sure. The frigate itself is then going to shoot. It's got 4 shots with the carbines, and then I'll do the shrapnel shot with its main guns, so I can actually combine these profiles. Total of 9 shots on 3s and 3s. That is going to be 3 at -1.
3 4-ups. I'm gonna make 2 damage.
2 damage.
He's at 11 taken.
I am going to spend a command point here for all-out attack on the Thunderers and get into them. And that is going to be a bunch of different profiles here. We'll start with the Fumigators. They're going to be D6 shots each. It's going to be 8 shots. They automatically hit. They're going to wound on 3s. That is going to be a total of 7. Normally no rend, but they'll be -1 because of the augmentation.
This will be 7 4-ups. I'm gonna only make 2.
1 damage each. The Deck Sweepers are going to be 5 shots each, and I've got 3 of them in the unit. They're going to be 2s and 4s with the all-out attack. All of them hit. That is going to be 5, normally -1, but -2 because of that augmentation.
This will be 5 5-ups. I'm gonna make 2.
1 damage each. The cannons, I've got 3 shots total here, 1 each, and these are going to be 2s and 2s with the all-out attack. So 3 hits and 2 wounds. Now normally these would be 2 rend, but they go to 3 rend.
So this will be 6 ups. Didn't make either.
And they are a flat 3 damage each. And then I've got 16 rifle shots. So these are going to be on 2s and 4s. 4s to wound. That is going to be a total of 6 at -2.
This will be 6 5-ups. I'm going to fail 5 of those.
Okay. Now, crucially, I overestimated my output here. I did not kill him in the shooting phase, so I'm going to fail my battle tactic. That puts me in a real rough spot here. I definitely expected more output from various things there. Didn't get it. But it is what it is. I am going to attempt to charge with my frigate, and I'm going to use my once per game 3 dice charge, 3d6. And with a 15, I will get in there. So when the frigate makes its charge, it gets 8 dice, and on 4-ups, these will be mortal wounds. So that is going to be a total of 6 mortal wounds.
I will kill my...
Okay.
So, because my War Stomper died, he does have Timber. Timber is not perfect because we do have to roll off. So if I roll off, I can do some work on Nick here. But, yeah. So I'm going to roll here. I only got a 1.
And I got a 6. I'm going to make you timber away from my guys. Now, before that, I've got the option to disembark. But any units that I disembark have to be set up within 3 inches of an enemy unit. And there aren't any enemy units left so after that charge damage. So I will not be able to do a combat disembark here with the frigate. And that's going to put me in a real rough spot. Absolutely not how I wanted this first turn to go. I got a giant killed, but I think I'm already in some trouble. So definitely not ideal. I wasn't able to slow down the real heavy hitters in this list. And then I had to commit a lot harder than I wanted to. I really wanted to be out on the edge there, get that War Stomper dead and shooting, which I almost did, but fell just a little bit short. So I'm going to be in some dire straits here, it feels like. But I do score 1 and hold more, so I'm going to get 2 points here, no battle tactic. And we'll have Sons of Behemat, bottom of 1.
That straight's impossible. Can't counting maneuver. I'm going to eye for an eye here. It's not going to be super easy, but it's, I think, my best chance. And then I am going to, I'm going to find a sour Broad here.
For my heroic action, I'm going to try to get a command point with my Admiral here. And I failed to do so.
Rod is going to pray for extra run. It's not ideally what I want to do, but I do want to get rid of this frigate. Frigate's on a 3-up save. The extra run will be huge. So Rod on a 3-up will give the whole army an extra point of run. And he will.
Got it, yeah.
So, nice thing about playing, I'm going to move right into my movement phase.
Alright, well, with that movement, I am going to redeploy with the boat. And it goes 5 inches.
So, I ran with my War Stomper because I needed to make sure I had something on the objectives. I have relatively long charges from both the Gatebreaker and Broad here, but I do have my Triumph for reroll, and I have a regular command point reroll. So I'm hoping I can get into some stuff here, but overall with 3 models to move, it's not too much rocket science. I do have a shooting attack from the Gatebreaker. I'm going to put it into your Iron Blasters. Just let me make sure I put it.
My Iron Breaks.
Iron Breaks.
For what it's worth, you can shoot at the hero there, because he's not a GC.
Oh, that's right. I can't get rid of any long gears. I'll just make my charge longer.
Sure.
I'm going to spend a command point here.
Sure. For all-out attack.
For all-out attack. This will be a 2 and a 2 into Nick's Iron Drakes.
Sure.
Nope.
Okay.
And then into charges. Broad is going to attempt his charge first. I have the Triumph for a reroll. Let's see if I can get it. 8. Let me measure it again. I'm going to stick it just to be sure. I have to reroll it because we've measured and an 8 won't get him in. I'm going to use my command point here.
Okay.
7 will not do it. I'm going to charge with my Gatebreaker. 6 will not do it. I'm going to use my Triumph for reroll.
Sure.
3 will not do it.
Okay.
So that's going to end my turn. I'm going to have 20 on super unsuccessful turn there. I needed to make a charge somewhere, and I didn't. Now I feel if I don't get the double, it's kind of game over.
Could be rough. Yeah. And we'll have this big priority roll. I've got a 40 or 2. Obviously, in this situation, I'm going to take it and be happy to have it. So we'll go into Kharadron, top of 2.
Yep.
As poorly as my first turn shooting phase went, your turn went much worse. My redeploy there was huge, getting just out of range. So, big one there.
Yeah, it was bad.
This turn for my battle tactic, I'm going to take Cunning Maneuver, and I'm going to pick the Navigator to complete that one. And then for my heroic action, I'm going to attempt to get a command point with my Admiral once more. And I do. And then I've got one more start a hero phase thing to do here. I'm going to try to get command points from my Barak Nar sub-faction ability on 4s, so 2 extras there as well.
I'm going to attempt to get a command point from my general. I will.
Okay. In the hero phase proper, the Longbeards are going to grumble their same grumble, and then so the reroll 1s to wound on the Iron Drakes, and then or on all dispossessed, and the priest is going to pray for the Forge Fire and going to get it on a 2, and that's going to go on the Iron Drakes. Norgrim has struck his rune, so the renewed hearth is now on that center objective. The Navigator is going to attempt to read the winds again with Stormcaller. And got 2 1s there, going to reroll. 3 1s, so that's just going to be all the giants on the field. So Broad is going to take 1 mortal wound, the War Stomper is going to take 2, and the Gatebreaker is going to take 3. With that, we can get into movement here. Movement here, very straightforward. This priority was obviously really huge. Justin's got himself moved into position so that I'm going to be able to unload pretty much all of my shooting into things and then potentially do some swinging as well. I repositioned a couple of things, but I didn't want to offer any redeploys to that Gatebreaker because I've got it in range of a couple things that I want to be able to shoot it with. And so I just scattered everything else around and got up in the business of that War Stomper. And I'll do as much work here as I can. At the start of the shooting phase, the Chemist is going to augment the Thunderers, and the Admiral is also going to augment the Thunderers with his once per game ability to give them an extra rend on their shooting. So they'll be at 2 extra rend on all their shots.
Sure.
Then we can get into shooting. I am going to shoot first with the Thunderers. I'm going to use the Admiral's once per game Leadership of the Alpha ability to issue all-out attack to them and up to 2 other units during this phase. It'll be them, Brock, and the frigate.
Sounds good.
And he'll use his free command point that he got for the turn on that. So for the Thunderers here, I got all my long-range stuff is going to be able to go into the Gatebreaker. So I'm going to put all of the 18-inch shooting into the Gatebreaker. That is going to be the cannons, the rifles, and then the... I don't have any mortars, so that won't apply. Then the Fumigators and Deck Sweepers are all going to go into the War Stomper.
I'll defense my general.
Okay.
With this command point.
So we'll start with the close range stuff into the War Stomper. D6 shots with each of the Fumigators. I've got 2 of them. 6 of them, they automatically hit. So wounding on 3s. That is going to be 6, and because of the augmentation, I've got a -2.
This will be 6 ups. I'm going to make 1.
1 damage each.
He's at 10.
The Deck Sweepers then, 3 of them, 15 attacks. These are going to be on 2s and 4s. And that's not enough attacks. Okay. to miss 1. Wounding on 4s. And that's going to be 7 at rend 3, effectively.
They're going to go right through.
1 damage each.
He's at 17.
And then we can get into the long range stuff. These will be +1 to hit and +1 to wound because they're going into your general who I designated at the start. So the cannons first, 2s and 2s. That is going to be 2 at -4.
Those are going to go right through.
3 damage each.
He's at 9 taken.
16 attacks with the rifles then on 2s and 3s. That is going to be a total of 8 at -3.
This will be 8 6-ups. I'm not going to make any damage.
1 damage each.
He's at 17.
The Iron Drakes are going to fire then into your Gatebreaker. They won't get the bonus to wound here, but they are fairly buffed up. So I've got 1 with a torpedo. He's got a bonus attack because they didn't move this turn. These are going to be on 3s and 3s. 2 hits. No wounds. And then I've got 18 attacks with the Drake guns. And these are going to be on 3s and 3s. Rerolling 1s to wound. So that is going to be 8 at -2 because of that prayer.
This will be 8 5-ups. I'm going to make 1 damage each.
1 damage each.
So he's at 23.
Okay. My Chemist is going to put his shots into your War Stomper. 3d6 shots here. Got a total of 11 shots. And these are going to be on 4s and 4s. That is going to be 2 at -2.
This will be 2 6-ups. Neither.
1 damage each.
He's at 19 taken.
The Endrin Riggers inside the boat. First unit is going to shoot into the War Stomper. 3s and 4s. That is going to be 4 at -2.
This will be 4 6-ups. Made 1 damage.
1 damage each. The other unit of Endrin Riggers, same target. Also 3s and 4s. That's going to be 2 at -2.
2 6-ups. Made 1 this one. Damage.
1 damage each.
He's at 23 taken.
Okay. The Admiral has his 9-inch shots. Going to go into that same War Stomper. 3s and 3s. That is going to be 2 at -1.
2 5-ups. Neither damage.
2 damage each. The Frigate is going to go next. He's going to do the shell shot. He's going to be the second recipient of my Leadership of the Alpha all-out attack. So the shell shot is going to go into your general, and then the carbines are going to go into your War Stomper.
Sure.
4 attacks with those carbines. These are going to be, because of the all-out attack, 2s and 3s. All hit. And 3 wounds at -1.
These will be 5-ups. Made 2.
Okay, 2 damage. The shell shot then, I'm going to get 2 attacks. These are going to be, with the all-out attack, 3s and 2s, and they're going in your general. Both hit. Just 1 wounds though, at -2.
This will be a 5-up. Nope.
Okay. D3 plus 2, that will be 3 damage. Brock is then going to go, he's going to put all of his shots, he's got 18-inch range, into your general, and again, he's going to get that all-out attack. So he's going to be with the Grungson's Boast on 2s and 2s. That is 1 at -2.
This will be a 5-up. Nope, damage.
D3 plus 3, 4 damage. And then the Magnate's Charter on 2s and 2s here, all at attack and chosen target. All hit. And all of them wound at -1.
So this, he'll reduce the -1 to 0, and then he'll get +1. So how many was that?
6.
It's supposed to be 6 3-ups. He passed out with 1.
2 damage. This unit of Arcanaut Company is then going to shoot, and they're going to put all their long-range shots into your general, all their close-range shots into your War Stopper.
Sure.
So first up, we've got the Aethermatic Volley Gun into your general. It's 2d6 attacks. It's going to be 3 attacks, and these are going to be on 4s and 3s. 2 hits. 1 wound at no rend.
This will be a 3-up.
Okay. And then the Light Skyhook, it's going to be on a 4 and a 2. Hits. Fails to wound. And then all the pistol attacks going into your War Stopper, including the volley pistol. We're going to have 15 attacks here. And because it's contesting an objective, I'll get +1 to hit, so these will be 3s and 4s.
And these are all into the War Stopper?
Yep. And because I haven't used it yet this phase, and this is my last round of shooting, I'm going to take this 1 and re-roll it. I get 1 per phase. Just didn't need it on any of the big guns. So that is going to be a total of 8 at no rend.
This will be 8 4-ups. I'm going to fail 4. Nope. 5.
1 damage each. Couple of charges then to attempt. First up, going to charge with that unit of Arcanaut Company. And they're going to go 7 inches. Then I'm going to attempt to charge with my frigate. It's going to go 4 inches, which is just enough. Still got 8 dice here, and these are going to be 4-ups for mortal wounds from the charge impact. It's going to be 4 mortal wounds.
We'll kill him.
Okay, and then we've got a big timber roll again. I've got a 2 to your 6.
All right, so
You're going to have a bunch of stuff.
I will pick right.
Sure, there. It's a bunch of units here. It's everything inside the boat and all these other units.
So it's just D3. So first the frigate. We'll take 1.
Okay.
1 of the units of engine riggers. We'll take 1. The other unit of engine riggers. We'll take 2.
Okay. That kills 1.
Is it Brock?
Yep.
Brock. We'll take 3.
Oh, good.
The Arcanauts. We'll take 2.
Okay.
And your Thunderers. We'll take 1.
Okay. And then the Admiral inside the boat.
Oh. Admiral inside the boat. We'll take 3.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely take that back swing if I have to. Very successful turn for me. I obviously would have loved to pile everything out of the boat, but again, things are just dying to that charge damage. It's very impactful. I didn't get the Gatebreaker down, but I surely hurt him really badly. It's going to make it very tough for him to do a whole lot. And I really feel good about the fact that I've burned up your -1 to rend prayer out of Broad, so the impact is going to be a little bit less there. But obviously the boat's just kind of hanging out here now, and the charges into it could be real bad. So, but I got my battle tactic. I hold 1 and hold more, so I'm going to get a total of 4 points here. I've got a battle shock on the Arcanauts. With a 2, they're going to be okay. Coherency, though, is going to remove a couple miles. And we'll go into bottom of 2, Sons of Behemat.
I'm going to choose Gaining Momentum and pick the unit of Arcanauts for my battle tactic this round.
Sounds good.
For my heroic action, I'm going to try to heal my general. He will heal D3 for 2.
Okay.
He's down to 30 taken. And then Broad will try the prayer for a D3.
Hang on. I will attempt to heal Brock. And I do. He will get 1 back.
And then Rod is going to attempt his prayer to do D3, heal D3 wounds. This will be on a 3-up. No. We'll then go into movement. So I moved up here, nothing too complex. I want to get a charge into the frigate, and I want to get a charge into onto the objective and take some stuff off if I can. I'm going to again spend a command point to get the gatebreaker +1 for the shot. He is going to have a 2 and a 2.
Where's this going?
Into your Arcanauts.
Okay.
Yep. At -3, 4 damage.
Straight through. That's going to take off a big chunk of them.
And then we'll attempt to charge with the gatebreaker. A 6. So first onto your unit of Arcanauts on the 2-up.
Hang on. Okay.
The D3. There'll be 3 onto the Arcanauts.
Okay, isn't it D6?
Yes, D6. So they took 6.
Okay, that's going to clear the Arcanauts.
And then into the unit of Longbeards. They don't. Do they still have the mortal wound protection, or is that just turn 1?
They've got it as long as they're contesting that objective.
Okay. Yes, for D6 for 5.
Okay, they are contesting their sworn objectives, so they'll get a 5-up ward here. And they'll save 1, so that's going to kill 4 Longbeards. I'm going to unleash hell here. It's debatable whether I want to unleash hell with the Thunderers or the Iron Drakes, but the Iron Drakes have the more advantageous rend here, so that's really compelling. But I've got the cannons that would be in range here for the Thunderers, so I'm going to unleash hell with the Thunderers, put their shots in. It's just going to be a handful of them in here, but it's going to be 2 cannons, my leader with his rifle, 2 other rifles, and 1 scattergun. So the cannons, with the unleash hell penalty, these are going to be 4s and 2s. 1 hit, 1 wound at -2.
This will be a 6-up. Nope.
3 damage. The deck sweeper is going to be 4s and 3s because I get the +1 to wound against this target. Nothing. And then the rifles are going to be on 4s and 3s. That is going to be just 1 at -1.
This will be 0, so this will be a 4-up. No, damage.
1 damage.
Rod isn't going to attempt his charge. He'll get in on a 6.
Okay, and do a bunch of mortal wounds.
Oh, so it's each unit in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Including the boat.
The boat first on a 2-up will take D6. No. The first unit of engine riggers that has 2 left. Yes. For 6.
Okay, that's going to clear that 1 unit of engine riggers.
The other unit of engine riggers. Yes. For 4.
Nearly clears them. We've got just the leader left with 1 wound.
Brock. Nope. The Admiral. Yes. For 4.
4, and that is going to kill him as well. That's he's not my general, but big loss to lose the Admiral.
I'm then going to fight first with Brad. He is going to all-out attack here. Monstrous action. I am going to roar at your boat.
At the frigate.
And that will be roared.
Okay.
I'm just going to stomp your Longbeards. Yes, for D3. For 3.
Okay, they've got their 5-up ward. And they're going to fail all 3 of those.
I am going to go with Broad first here.
Okay.
He is going to all-out attack. I'm just going to put all my attacks into the frigate.
Okay. I can't all-out defense here because you roared me.
So first is going to be the Obelisk of Torn Crania. This is going to be 4 attacks. These are going to be 2s and 3s. I'll hit 2 wounds at -2.
Okay. These are going to be 5s. Going to pass 1.
5 damage.
Okay.
Alright, Almighty Stomp. This is going to be 2s and 3s. Just 1 at -2.
-2 is going to be 5 up.
D3 damage for 1.
Okay.
And then the Death Grip, this is going to be 1 attack, 2s and 2s. Nope.
Okay. My first fight here then is going to be with the Longbeards, and they're going to pile out.
I'm going to all-out defense here.
Got a total of 3 attacks here on, these are going to be 3s and 4s. That is nothing.
I'm going to pile with the Gatebreaker.
Sure.
It's going to pull in the Thunderers on purpose here. My only hope of winning here is to get the double turn and then not be, unleash hell. So I need to pull the Thunders in the battle while I can.
Sure, makes sense.
I am going to put, since I have 3-inch reach, I'm going to put all my attacks into the Thunderers.
Okay. Now, important to note here, they fired at the Gatebreaker when he came in, but because not all of them were in range to shoot, there was no opportunity to do the suppression on him.
Sure. So I am all the way bracketed on the Fort Crusher Flail. So this is going to be 3 attacks, 4s and 3s. One at -3.
Okay. On the Thunderers, they're going to be on a 6 up. Nope.
4 damage.
4 damage. Okay.
And then the Almighty Stomp, because I'm attacking into a unit with a wounds characteristic of 3 or less, I'm going to get to add 1 to the hit rolls for the attack speed here. So this is going to be 2s and 3s. Just 1 at -2.
1 at -2. 5 up. Nope.
D3. For 3.
Okay.
And then the Death Grip. This is going to be 3 and a 2. -2.
5s. Nope.
D6 damage. For 6.
Okay. My combats here then, the Thunderers are no longer in combat. The Iron Drakes would have the opportunity to pile in, but I'm going to decline that. I'm just going to have the boat and everything in it that's going to go into Broad. So first up, we're going to have Brock. 4 attacks with his Aethermatic Saw on 3s and 2s. Nothing. And then I'm going to have 1 Endrin Rigger left alive. It is the leader, so he'll get an extra attack. So 3 attacks on 3s and 3s. That is going to be 2 at -2.
This will be 2 6-ups. Neither.
D3 damage each. That is going to be a total of 4 damage. And then the frigate itself, it has taken 7, so it's bracketed just a little bit. It's going to have 5 attacks with boarding weapons on 4s and 4s. And that is 2 at no rend.
2 4-ups. I'll pass 1, fail 1. Damage.
1 damage each. And then after Brock finished fighting, on a 2 up, you'll take D3 mortal wounds from his mustache guns. Yes, for 2 mortal wounds. The mustache guns get you every time.
Oh yeah, they do. So you're gonna owe me some battle shocks here.
First, at the end of the combat phase, my Endrin Rigger, I'd love to do an emergency repair here, but I'm within 3 inches of you, so I can't there. Yeah, so on to Battle Shock. The Longbeards are in trouble, and my unit of Endrinriggers are in trouble, and my Thunderers are in trouble. I'm going to auto-pass the Thunderers, and I can't Inspiring Presence any of them that are in combat, but the Thunderers are no longer in combat. The Longbeards have a rate of 8. I lost 7 this turn, so they are actually going to be fine. And in the Endrinriggers, I lost 2, and they're going to be fine as well.
I could have used that Battle Shock. I'm going to control 1, control more, even though I'm...
How badly bracketed are you?
8, 10, 12. I will not get that. So I am down to 12. As far as how many I count for, I needed one of those Longbeards to Battle Shock off. It didn't happen. So I will not gain control of that objective. If I do not win this priority here, I will be shaking Nick's hand.
And I've got a 5 near 4. I will obviously take the turn. Good game, Justin. As bad as my first turn felt like it went, I did clear a giant, and then your first turn really just did not pan out.
No, it's hard to say how the game goes if I, do a couple things differently, but I felt like I needed to go for the rend on Brad. The extra 2 movement would have been huge in retrospect, but such is life. I wouldn't have probably killed the frigate, although I don't know, maybe it's close. I would have had Finest Hour on him when he went in rather than non-Finest Hour. But yeah, I don't think this game gives you a good read on what your KO is going to do. It was very strong in turn 2.
Yeah, that was really when I bumped all of my once per game abilities got dumped turn 2.
Yeah.
It's tough to get a full read on it, but the potential of the Thunderers is there when you really go the 2 extra rend, all attack, ideally +1 to wound. They did a tremendous amount of damage in that sequence. What we see in kind of turn 1 was what they're getting normally, which was a little bit lackluster for their points. The Iron Drakes are ironically way better damage per point under most circumstances, so it's kind of amusing. Norgrims, them counting as 2 on the objectives ended up being a really big determiner in how this game played out. Your 1 giant just wasn't able to take the objective.
No, it was rough to try to deal with those guys, and obviously a couple of things go differently. Maybe I have a chance, but just wasn't to be. Giants are tough just because you lack battle tactics that are easy to get early on. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough setup. I mean, they take everything you're going to give them to the face, and a lot of stuff does a lot of crazy damage now.
Yeah.
Easily 35 points of damage a turn is not. It's not difficult for any army really that's competitive to do now.
I think in a vacuum, if I was able to put everything into your army, I would expect to hit that 2 giants in a turn threshold, popping all the once per games. And that's just a situation that giants can't exist in, right?
Right.
Now, typically I'm not going to get everything in, but just the fact that that's a possibility makes it very, very difficult sledding for giants.
It felt like a little bit of a nombo at times that your frigate's so good on the charge, you weren't able to get stuff out ever.
Well, the damage thresholds just broke really strangely in this game. The fact that you were at 4 wounds left on the first War Stomper, I charged in, and then it was dead. So the rules for that combat disengage that the frigate has are that you've got to set up the units within 3 inches of an enemy. Well, if the enemy's gone, you can't do that, right? So the charge cleared off that one, and then again, in that second War Stomper, again, same situation, 4 wounds left, charge cleared it off. It's great that they're doing that damage, but then that didn't really show the potential of what that thing can do when it unloads everything and everything gets to fight first, which obviously is very big against an army like Giants where you want that concentrated firepower.
Yeah, for sure. Giants, I don't know how feasible they are. I think, I don't know if my build's very good. I don't know if Giants are very good. I think KO seems like they have stuff to do. It's pretty early on to make any kind of judgment, but I think they're stronger than Nick thinks initially. I think being able to bring a bridge for free is just like an extra 100 points to your army, which seems really good.
You can no longer do the Warp Lightning Vortex, and you're less incentivized to do the Purple Sun because you have to do it. You don't have the opportunity to move in the hero phase anymore like you used to be able to. So those offensive endless spells are a little bit less appealing, but Bridge for free is much better than that ever was, right?
Yeah.
Bridge was already a consideration to take KO, and now I think it's just a slam dunk to get it in for free for just an artifact slot. Norgrim's, it feels really good in this season in particular. I wish he was a GC, but he's unique. But there are so few objectives on the battlefield in a lot of the scenarios that being able to just kind of lock one and have that board presence feels really good. Arcanauts are underwhelming. They were poor before, or they were nothing but a screen before. They're still in that same role. They went up 10 points. I know there's a couple ways to really juice them up with a bunch of abilities, but it seems like you're spending a lot of support on a unit that's probably not worth it. Thunderers just seem better for their points because they've got that base 3-up save and a lot more concentrated hitting power. So I'm not sold on the Arcanauts. There's definitely play in KO though.
Navigator's just amazing.
Navigator's amazing. There's two ways to build melee in KO now. You can do Barak Nar with Brock like I had here. Didn't really get to show it off, but he gives the +1 attacks on a charge. Or you can go Barak Zahn and get the +1 to hit, +1 to wound on the charge. Both are really good. Barak Zahn is a little bit more compelling in terms of raw damage output. Barak Nar gives you the extra command point generation. Debatable to say which one's better, but it's great that there are real viable melee options in KO now. I wish that Arcanauts were part of them though. I want the pirate feel that they bring.
Yeah.
So, Giants is in a rough spot. KO's in an interesting spot. I don't think KO has enough to overcome some of the real boogeymen of the meta right now. I think a Techless Castle really dunks on KO. I think Sylvaneth probably dunks on KO to some extent. I think that Seraphon is probably there. Gitz is just way too many wounds and way too many ways to deal with attritional shooting damage for KO to have any real play against them. But
shooting against Gitz in general is a non-starter right now.
Yes. Yep, it's real rough unless you can completely delete entire units or
all their heroes.
Yeah, even when you delete entire units, they're coming back. When you delete the heroes, that feels really good. And I do have some sharpshooters options here to take out a few heroes, but you're not going to clean all the heroes, right? So those matchups in particular, I think, make it an unfavorable meta for KO. But as the meta changes, obviously, there's enough power in the book to maybe bring them around. And they're a book that I could take to a tournament and feel pretty good about getting a winning record with, which is generally my goal.
All right, well, great game, Nick. Thanks for sticking with us this long. If you did, please like and subscribe. Join us in our Discord. Links always below the video.
It's really popping off now. I've had a bunch of people join the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been great. Always conversations, always people making deals, always people finding games, so please join us. And then if you're feeling especially generous, let's get some Patreon members.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.